Good morning. One of the most well-known customs of Rosh Hashanah is that of having Simanim, the different fruits and vegetables which we have either on just the first night or both nights of Rosh Hashanah. And we say the different Yehirot zones, the Tfilos, of course, the apple and honey, which is perhaps the most well-known, but all the different types of Simanim. Now, this comes from already the times of the Gemara, and there's a development exactly what was the minhag. Was it just to look at them? It seems to be the custom at one point. Just looking at them, eating them, developing the custom of saying the tefillah over them. But nonetheless, the way the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah write it, and the way we generally have it today, is that we take these different fruits and vegetables, we make the bracha, we eat them, we say the Hirot zones, in whatever order is a topic for another time, but that seems to be the minhag. Now, there is one major problem which comes up to the whole custom as a whole, and that is we have another prohibition, which is brought in Parshas Kedoshim. The pasuk says that lo senachash, one cannot do nichush, one cannot practice sorcery. And so some have the issue and say, what do you mean? How can we have these simanim on Rosh Hashanah? It seems to be a means of sorcery. So to understand that, let's talk about sorcery for just a moment. What is the prohibition of nichush? So that's not so simple. That's a whole topic in and of itself. But basically, there is a machlokes in the Rishonim whether if I make a stipulation that if X happens, then I will do Y. They talk about it in the context of the Eliezer but of Ram, that if this girl will come out and will offer both me and my camels water, then I'll know. So they discuss how Eliezer was able to do so. But at least according to the Rambam and Tosfos, that seems to be a prohibition of nichush, that if I make a stipulation, if X happens, then I will, based off of that, go ahead and act in a specific way. However, the Ravid did not feel that that's a prohibition. The Ravid says it's only a problem if certain X happened already, and now because something happened, I will not go ahead and do something else. For example, if bread fell out of my mouth, now I know that's going to be a bad day, I won't go to work. Or a deer crossed in front of me, now that's a sign that something bad is going to happen to me, and therefore I won't go out of my house. Something like that the Ravid says is the prohibition of nichush. But nonetheless, either according to the Rambam or according to the Ravid, it does not seem to be an issue of nichush when it comes to the Simanim of Rosh Hashanah, because it's not a basis for a course of action. Their machlokes is, okay, what exactly is the problem? But they're all dependent upon the assumption that there is a course of action which follows. However, the Simanim of Rosh Hashanah is simply a good or bad omen, which does not dictate any course of action, therefore it's not a problem. An additional approach is in the Mordechai suggests that it's not a problem of nichush, because nichush is defined by when Chazal tell us something is nichush. But in the situations that Chazal tell us to go ahead and act in such a way, for example, the Simanim of Rosh Hashanah, by definition, the fact that we're doing it because Chazal told us, that is not a problem of nichush. And finally, the approach of the Meiri is that we're not putting any intrinsic value into the actual eating of these items, but rather they're a means of encouraging us to daven on Rosh Hashanah. So again, three basic approaches why Simanim are not nichush: either because we're not so mechana, we're not dependent on it or basing any course of action on it, or number two, because the very fact that Chazal told us to do this definition is a definition that it's not nichush, or number three, it simply doesn't have any value but is meant as a means of encouragement to daven. Have a fantastic day.